野的外国女孩正在
A group of foreign girls with striking looks are taking over matchmaking corners in major Chinese cities. The first to feel the pressure? The leftover women in China. Recently, matchmaking corners in first and second-tier cities have seen an influx of young women from Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and other countries holding signs that say, "No bride price needed, just a Chinese husband," as they seek partners. For example, at Beijing's Zhongshan Park matchmaking corner, a beautiful Russian woman born in 2000 held a sign introducing herself. She has a master's degree from Peking University, owns 2 villas and a farm in Russia, and now just wants a reliable Chinese boyfriend. The key? She doesn't even ask for a bride price. Another Russian woman at a matchmaking corner in Chengdu, who owns her own home and car, only asked for a symbolic bride price of 8,800 yuan. These foreign, white, rich, and beautiful women have instantly ignited China's marriage market. They generally have high education, high attractiveness, and high incomes. Not only do they speak multiple languages, but they've also adapted to Chinese culture and customs. Crucially, most of these foreign women don't expect Chinese men to pay a bride price at all. They just want a reliable partner who will cherish them. Unsurprisingly, Chinese men and their parents are thrilled. A mother at Shanghai's People's Park, who is looking for a wife for her son, put it this way: local girls demand cars, houses, and at least 380,000 yuan in bride price, while foreign girls are better qualified, younger, and don't ask for a bride price. Of course, they're more willing to accept foreign girls. But others are panicking. A quick search on social media reveals many comments like, "Foreign girls should get out of China's matchmaking market." Some accuse them of disrupting fairness in the dating scene, while others blame Chinese men for being low quality and unworthy of Chinese women, now relying on foreign women to lift them out of poverty. But such rhetoric hasn't stopped cross-border marriages from becoming increasingly popular. In the eyes of Chinese men, foreign women are not only exceptional, often aged 20 to 25, but also see Chinese men as highly desirable, filial, family-oriented, and famously devoted to their wives. Unlike the machismo of Japanese or Korean men or the violent tendencies associated with men from some other countries, Chinese men are seen as high-quality males. So, these foreign women are even willing to bring their own dowries to marry into China. Compared to cross-border marriages, China's current marriage market seems deeply distorted. The data speaks for itself. In 2024, there were only 6.106 million marriages nationwide, nearly halved from a decade ago. Birth rates continue to decline, and since 2022, the number of newborns has fallen below 10 million. Today, there are at least 30 million bare branches, unmarried men, struggling to find partners. One major factor is that China's leftover women have been severely inflated by capitalist ideals. They demand that men not only be breadwinners but also provide constant emotional labor. Regardless of their own qualifications, they insist on bride prices of hundreds of thousands of yuan, along with fully paid cars and houses, almost non-negotiable requirements. So, they can't comprehend why foreign women would marry without such demands. In their view, since there are more men than women in China, and more bare branches than leftover women, women should hold the upper hand in the marriage market and thus are entitled to set higher standards. What they don't realize is that many single Chinese men have already opted out, either rejecting marriage and children as life necessities or turning to cross-border marriages. As a result, the gender ratio in matchmaking corners has reached a shocking 150, leaving the leftover women as the more desperate party. That said, while cross-border marriages are growing, they remain a niche in the broader marriage market. The real barriers keeping young people from marrying are still sky-high housing prices, rising living costs, and an uncertain future. Unless these issues are resolved, China's marriage market will likely remain in turmoil. I'm a 90-born, leftover woman who just got married a few days ago. My husband and I didn't date. We met through arranged. Many people struggle with this. How do you convince yourself to marry someone so quickly? I think you need to think clearly about self-interest. Ask yourself, is this marriage beneficial for me? Not in a transactional way, but at 35, if I don't marry now, what's the alternative? To put it bluntly, in a few years, I might hit a dead end. Maybe even miss the window for having kids. Sure, some women have children at 40 or 50, But if you want to maximize your chances, you've got to seize the tail end of your fertility. I barely caught mine. Missing it would have been a real regret. Some say, why not just have a child without the father? That's an option, but why choose the hardest path? If you're avoiding marriage just to go solo, consider the reality. Raising a child alone could derail your career and make life much tougher. Some sisters say, why should I marry at all? Trust me, I used to think exactly like you, word for word. But as you age, your mindset shifts. We need to be rational and plan our futures from a position of strength. You might not regret staying single, but if you miss your chance to have kids, no amount of money later can fix that. So think carefully. People ask me, you don't love him. Won't marriage make you miserable? No, because I made this decision with clarity. Adopt a male mindset. Men often marry for looks, education, career potential, or good genes. As women, even leftover ones, we might have fewer options now, but we can still choose the best within our reach. There's nothing wrong with that. We're adults. Stop obsessing over romance. A well-built life is more reliable and lasting than fleeting passion. My partner and I laid everything out up front. Bride price, household roles, chore splits, all spelled out. Early clashes faded as we compromised. What matters is practicality. How will we live day to day? If you're struggling to survive, what's the point of romance? In my 20s, I'd have found love-based marriage dreamy. At 35, I see it as reckless immaturity. I'm 37 years old, still unmarried and childless. I earned a master's degree, then found a pretty good job, and even started my own small company. What I consider excellent is simply this. As long as you work hard enough to stand on your own in society, you are what people call excellent. But the reality is harsh. No matter how accomplished you are, no matter how hard you work, even if you've earned money, bought a car, and bought a house through your own efforts, if you're not married, you're seen as problematic. In the eyes of most people, you're the one being discriminated against. The setbacks you face in the dating market can be bluntly laid out for young women. Whether they're older or younger, they'll discriminate against you for your age. No matter how outstanding you are, the only thing they'll nitpick about is your age. And this seems to be socially accepted. If you rely on your own efforts to earn money, people will still look down on you for your age. It's as if no matter how hard you try, if you're not married, there's something wrong with you. You deserve it. Age is your fatal flaw, and they'll hold it against you. The only thing they'll criticize is your age. Perhaps your best option is to live a carefree and refined life alone until old age. Or if you can earn enough money while you're young, you might afford a better nursing home when you're older. In any case, you have to be prepared to grow old in loneliness.